I'm here on behalf of BeInCrypto, and before the interview today, make sure to go and check out their website, www.beincrypto.com, for crypto news, trading advice, and much more. Also, you can join their Telegram at BeInCrypto community to discuss trading and be a part of the community there. Now for the video. Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're here with Crypto Michaël. He's a full-time trader, he's a technical analyst, financial coach, he's an economics student, and he loves poker and fitness. What I grabbed from your Twitter bio. So we're going to be diving into the crypto market, the global financial system, monetary policy, inflation, and then how everything is being impacted by things going on right now like COVID and everything else. So just before we dive into anything, for anyone who doesn't know who you are, do you want to just give a little introduction and a little bit about yourself?
Well, no, you have already said everything. Basically, I'm a trader. My content is focused on trading as well and everything surrounding the economy. So what you find on Twitter and YouTube is technical analysis on the markets and just data covering my ideas. And I'm slowly switching more towards the monetary system and everything surrounding that, as I feel like we're approaching like climax of our current system. So yeah, basically everything around trading, investing, and all the markets. So there's that.
Awesome.
Yeah, not too much about fitness and poker recently, as everything is closed.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit bad, but yeah, it's all about trading and investing.
Okay, awesome. And how did you originally get into that? And when did you start getting into cryptocurrency and trading in that market?
Well, as a kid, I used to watch the investment shows on TV. We've got a national TV sender, and that's actually showing the Dutch stock markets. And as a kid, I was constantly watching that. But if you want to start trading stocks, you have to have a certain capital. And I don't have that. So it just faded away until in the beginning of 2017, some of my friends started to show me the profits on altcoins on CoinMarketCap. And that was the trigger for me to get connected with crypto. And then you start to read more about what Bitcoin is, what the future of crypto and our system could be. And then you get a passion. And then it just becomes a hobby to work to your life. And that's basically how it went.
Awesome.
Didn't really expect Twitter to be that big at this point. But yeah, you have to deal with it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. So diving into some of the more meat of what we're going to talk about, what are just briefly as we're sort of getting into this, what are some of your thoughts on the global financial system as it is today and how it might be impacting the crypto markets?
Well, the overall global economy is on the edge of going really bad. I mean, if people have watched The Big Short, that's literally what's going to happen again, but then on a bigger scale. I feel like the whole system is filled with debt, and at some point people have to pay for that. However, if the economy is fading or people lose their jobs, the whole system will just fall apart. And yes, we have witnessed, that's probably where you're pointing at, is the crash on March 12th, in which everything collapsed together, like gold, silver, crypto, and stock markets. However, that's a short-term liquidity problem in which there was panic on the equity markets. And I don't feel like crypto should be going that much down if the equity markets are going down, unless there is panic. Like in panic, everything correlates towards close to 1. Everyone wants to have cash. But I guess crypto will be benefiting from a downturn on the economy as it is designed to benefit from it. But if there is some sort of short-term panic period, then yes, obviously everything goes down. Like gold went down in 2008 as well, and gold went down in 2000 as well. So short term, yes, but long term, it's bullish for crypto, I guess, unfortunately.
Yeah. So essentially, people might be taking out a lot of money now because they're scared, or over the past few months because they were scared. But if the long-term regular market, like the regular fiat market, goes way down, you think we'll see a lot of people adopting crypto and then using that as a solution, right?
Well, the problem is that we just don't know. So we're all just guessing right now what's going to happen to crypto, and that's making this whole asset class more risky than other asset classes because, yeah, it started after the recent crisis. But if you believe that the current economic system is going to fail and there's going to be people flying out of the US dollar as a stable currency or as their basis because they just don't trust the system anymore, then they will fly to something else. So gold, silver, and crypto should be the asset classes benefiting from it, especially given the fundamentals and just the way you can transfer Bitcoin, for instance. So there is some bullish arguments for crypto in case of an economic downturn, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, and how would you say the recent Bitcoin halving plays into whether or not Bitcoin will be bullish or bearish over the next year or so?
Well, the funny part is that Bitcoin halving is actually the opposite of what the Fed is doing, so it
Yeah.
should be bullish in itself. It's the problem is that the real effect of the halving will take place in the coming years. It's not like short term that you will see something happening. Yeah, we've seen a FOMO rally, we've seen a crash before the halving. But given that from a fundamental background, it's the opposite of what the Fed is doing, Bitcoin should go up because the value of the dollar will drop, which is the same with assets like gold and silver and platinum. So the halving should be bullish in this case from that perspective. And that's what I truly believe. So when people are saying, yeah, Bitcoin should go to 2K because the equity markets are going down, well, that's a bold statement. I just don't see that happening because of the fundamentals lying behind the halving and like Bitcoin in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with its inflation going down, it's becoming a much better store of value. So, would you say or what are your expectations for the halving? Do you think we'll see a large gain, like somewhat close to like previous halvings? Do you think it'll take a lot longer to reach like another peak versus because the two halvings ago it was, I believe, around a year, and then the next one it was about like 500 and something days. Do you think we'll continue to see a longer time period, like it could take 2 years perhaps, or what are your thoughts on that? I mean, of course, this is all estimation though.
Yeah, it's all speculation, but like if you the market is maturing more. So because of a market his maturity, you would expect the next cycle to take longer than the previous cycle. And the previous cycle took longer than the cycle before that. So what I see right now with the current halving is that when we get a cycle, this is the last halving that's going to significantly impact the price of Bitcoin. As with the next halvings, the price will just be far higher than the mining cost or whatever. So the only variable that could suit a faster bull market is the collapse of the US dollar. So if that does not happen, I assume that this cycle will take until like 2026, 2027, somewhere there. But if the US dollar falls in its value, it could go faster to 2022.
Yeah,
That's
that makes
for
sense.
me the only variable that could suit a larger momentum in Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me too. So like, what are your thoughts on some, like, I mean, we just sort of talked about this a little bit, but on countries printing a lot more money and injecting it into their economy? Just yesterday in the UK, they announced another 600 billion for their pandemic emergency purchase program. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the problem is with printing such amount of money is that it's not getting to the people who need the money. So printing an infinite amount of money is fine if it goes to the people, the backbone of your economy, which is the small stores in the cities. And they don't get it. It's getting stuck into the banking system, in which at one point they realize that it's not getting there where they need to be. And then they'll just stop. And if you go back in history, every time the world's reserve currency collapsed, it ended by an infinite amount of supply being raised on the markets, like Spain in the 1600s, in 1920 with the British pound, probably right now with the US dollar. Printing an infinite amount of money is only going to be helpful if people who need it get it, and that's just not the case right now. It's just somewhere on on bills on the banks. That's just not getting anywhere. So that's what you also see on the stock markets right now. It's just the Fed and the ECB buying stocks, like
Yeah.
public manipulation. If you want to discuss that word in crypto markets, it's just everybody's saying manipulation. If you want to discuss pure manipulation, this is probably the case,
Mm-hmm.
in my belief.
Yeah. 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 In terms of in terms of like how we could come out of this, like what do you think something that we could do? Like I've heard people talk about because people are getting stimulus checks and then they're saving all their money and not spending it, that's actually detrimental to, you know, getting the economy going again. Like what do you think people should be doing right now, or like what would you do in the case where if you got a stimulus check, or like how would you affect monetary policy if you had some sort of you know, influence on that, I guess?
You know, the problem is that at some point they don't have influence anymore.
Mm.
So at some point people are getting scared by what's happening in the actual world, that whatever they do, it doesn't have any impact anymore. So the only case and the only way you could do is to make it the best for yourself. So do the right steps, do the right moves to defend your own portfolio or your own wealth. Like
Yeah.
they can help the people to a certain level, but there's also a level that's just, yeah, you can't help it. So if it is going the wrong way, it will continue to go the wrong way until it's so bad that it can only go up again, which is the
Mm.
economic cycle. So, and I believe that we're getting, if we get a second wave, definitely we're going to get it. If we're not going to get a second wave, we're getting a delayed payment on debt, which will cross the markets either way. The only thing you could do as just if you get the stimulus check right now is invest it in stuff that's going to be a good hedge, or keep it as cash. Do not consume it. The most likely case you could get is that prices will go down rather than up. Maybe
Yeah.
on life consumer goods, it's necessary that it goes up, but on luxury goods, it's probably going down. So the best advice I would give to people is just to lay low.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I've seen a surge in people starting to get into investing, like taking this money that they're getting, and a lot of people have been starting to get into investing. What would you say for someone who is just getting in? Is it safe for them to be investing right now? Should they be holding off a bit? What are your thoughts there?
Well, the people who are joining right now are not people who understand the markets, they are just gamblers. So the fun part is I get these messages from friends as well.
Hmm.
They all message me with that they want to buy stocks. And when they want to buy stocks, it's not a boring like a logistic company or something. It's going to be Amazon or Zoom or Apple, because it's trendy, it's hip, it's great, it's going up. So they want to buy it. If you want to invest right now or start trading or start investing, I would suggest to dive into what this whole economic system is about, and just starting to read charts, because the basis is charts. And if you pop up the Amazon chart, you know that it's the same as Bitcoin in December 2017. It's going to go down either way. So yeah, just start pretty basic and read up on what the economy is all about, and just don't listen to what everyone is saying on social media, because you get burned either way. Yeah, and I'm also on
Yeah.
social media. I'm trying to say something, but it's like saying something to my wall over here. Nobody's going to listen until something
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've had a lot of friends who have been getting into investing in this time, and most of them really are just gambling, because they're not like taking a bunch of time out to really understand the market or anything. They just they want to get in while there's still price opportunity with the dip. But yeah, so do you think that this will lead to hyperinflation, or do you think we're already starting to see that? And how do you think that will affect crypto?
Um, I'm still in debate with myself which one we are going to get. Like, there's people who are saying that we are going to get hyperinflation or increased inflation. That's what they are trying actually right now, because they want to avoid deflation. The problem is that there is a likely case to have deflation as the demand on stuff just dried up. So for instance, the demand for iPhones right now or just cars is drying up while the supply is remaining the same. And where you have got a ton of supply, you have to get rid of it by lowering the prices. So it's even more likely to have deflation with the amount of debt and the amount of prices right now. But some countries could have hyperinflation. That's probably the conflict. Either way, it's bad. If we get hyperinflation, it's going to be bad for people. If we get deflation, people will think short term that it's great for them until they start to realize that their mortgage have to be paid while the prices are dropping and the mortgage rate will go up. So preferably you'd want to have hyperinflation rather than deflation, I guess. But it's still debatable which one we're going to have. And I tend to believe that we're going to get deflation for the majority of the countries, unless Argentina, Brazil, these type of countries who are just collapsing.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense to me. How would you see things playing out over the next like year or few years? Like, what do you think would be like the ideal scenario, and what do you think is the more, unideal scenario of what we might see over the next like few years?
The most ideal scenario would be that we get a vaccine for COVID and we just go on with our lives and everything just continues to go up. However, we have to face reality, in which there's a large group of people who expect that everything goes back to normal. However, big corporates are dropping employees by tens of thousands of people, and these jobs won't come back. So the impact on the economy is there already. So the best case would be that the governments can save all the companies and we just go on with the system we have. The worst case is that we get a second wave, which will just crush all the companies. And then we get the hyperinflation, deflation problem in which people just can't pay the debt anymore. And then you get social unrest, which you already see in the States right now. That will only become larger and larger and larger. And that's just what you don't want to see, because it's the end of a system. Our world reserve currency is the most stable country in the world, which is the States right now. I mean, it's getting destroyed. So it's just choosing between bad scenarios. I just don't see a really good scenario in which we just continue to go. It's literally on the edge of a drop down and on the end of the system.
Yeah. There isn't a lot of good scenarios in the future. I mean, we can hope, but
the problem is that it's not the problem of right now. It's the problem of the 90s and after the 1970s, where we got rid of the golden standard. Since then, this whole economic system is just one big gamble and just a test. And that test has been done before, and it's just on the edge of ending right now. Like the housing prices over here in Amsterdam have gone up with 600% in the last 20 years, while income has gone up with 50%. Which means that the amount of debt on people is just increasing. And at some point, that's going to level out again, only by deflation. So I just don't see any bullish scenario. Sorry for the listeners, but I just don't see it.
Yeah. So for people who are, wondering where their money should be going, do you see crypto as kind of that solution then right now?
Well, what I said is just it's the most risky asset right now, but it's also the one with the best perspective. It can be the largest gainer out of it. The second one is commodities. I mean, the gold S&P ratio is on its lowest point since 1970. Silver gold ratio is on its lowest point ever. So that states that the value of commodities is very low compared to the equity market. So the only two asset classes you should be focusing on right now is crypto and commodities, just to be safe and have cash in case of paying bills or whatever.
Yeah,
that's about it. If I would
Yeah.
have real estate right now, I would have sold everything.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. How would a second wave, like, what would we see with that, like in terms of stock markets, crypto markets? How would that be affected?
Well, stock markets will drop probably, as we have witnessed that as well in March. People seek for liquidity. Companies will be closed. Big corporates will be closed. The impact will just be destructive in the second wave. The first wave you can just help through the governments and through stimulus packages. The second wave you can't do anything anymore. So if we get it, it's going to be destructive. And the question is going to be how that's going to be impacting crypto in the short term. Yeah, that would be a case in which we get another crash, as probably everything is going to drop. But still, crypto is such a strange asset class if you discuss it in this case. I mean, it can go up, it can go down. You just simply don't know. We haven't seen anything like it before. But like if there's a second wave in which it's going to be the same fast impact as now, in which countries just get closed within 24 hours, it could be painful for crypto as well. It probably will be painful for every asset class.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you say, um, actually, those are all the questions that I had in terms of like global financial policy and monetary policy. If you were somehow put in charge, like today, if someone put you in charge of, I don't know, say like the Federal Reserve, what would you do in this like hypothetical scenario? What would be something that you would do right away, or like what would be something that you'd want to change?
Well, first of all, I would bring the money to the people who actually need it and not bail out every company that's been scamming the rest of the people by buying back stocks and whatever and just paying big bonuses to their boards. So that would be my main focus. And the second focus would be to restructure the whole system, as the problem is lying in the system we have. And if we don't change that, we can't change the system. So we can't change our economy and the failure that's coming up. So that would be two bottom lines in which, like, the social unrest in the United States is also coming from people who are just feeling that nobody is hearing them. Like,
Yeah.
they lose their jobs and they don't have anything at all. There's no, like the government is not helping them out. The same over here. Everybody's paying taxes a lot every year, and when there's trouble or when there's problems, oh, you get a one-time stimulus. Okay, here you go, and it's up to you. So
Yeah.
I would help the people rather than the companies, and just the
Yeah, and there's
small
also
companies. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, especially small companies, because I think if there's a second wave, it'll be mostly small companies that will suffer. Do you think that most small businesses would just go bankrupt if there was a second wave? What do you think would happen there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for instance, like restaurants and stuff, they barely survived this period. And they said over here that if there is a second wave coming, probably 70% will go bankrupt.
Wow.
Like, small companies are also filled with debt and they just don't have any um, savings. So you can help them through delaying payments and stuff, and delaying loan payments or just interest payments. But at some point you can't anymore, and then you have to save the banks as well. And probably 70% will just go bankrupt, or like a large number will go bankrupt, but also corporates will go bankrupt. Like, the impact on corporates is heavy right now. Every big auto manufacturer is losing 10,000 people of their employees because the sales went down with 60%. So I think if there's a second wave coming, the government should focus on the small businesses rather than the corporates. Was
Yeah.
Boeing is not going to give you bread.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Exactly. Boosting like local economies will be massively impactful for a lot of people. Yeah. Do you would you say that if if there was like another round of checks sent out, like I know there's been issues where some people are actually now making more money than when they were working. Do you think like that's another part of the problem where like they're not sending the money to the right people? It's just like a blanket like general check that they're kind of sending out rather than like actually getting the right people. I mean, obviously it's very challenging to get the right people and give them the right amounts, but do you think like that's kind of part of the issue where they're incentivizing people in the wrong ways and disincentivizing other people in certain like fields of work?
Yeah, I guess it's such a short-term impact that they don't have the time to test or check all the people who want to get some money, right? So the
Yeah.
bad people will also get money, the good people will get money. It would be beneficial if they would check everyone who's claiming that they need money. Like the good ones need it, the bad ones will just they need to go bankrupt in order to save the good ones. So, but they simply can't. It's too much. Um, so a check like that would be great for the survival of our economy, but it's too hard. It's just too hard because the system is way too complicated. That if you want to change something or want to help some people, it takes like months before you know everything. Like
Hmm.
filing your VAT payments is just, I can't do it anymore. I have to get someone else to explain to me what I have to do because it's just too complex. Like make it simpler for everyone and you get the same amount of money. It's
Yeah.
just our system.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's pretty much everything I have for monetary policy and stuff like that. I have a few more fun questions before we end this off. Um, what do you have a favorite cryptocurrency or something that you like to invest in, maybe a favorite stock?
No, I guess. Well, nah, I don't have a favorite one. I'm not attached to anything at all. I'm only attached to my own portfolio. So
Yeah.
if I have to pick a favorite one, it's going to be my portfolio.
Fair enough.
Like yeah,
Um,
I just have the most in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin doesn't survive, the rest won't. So altcoins are for fun. IEOs are the funniest one right now. So right now I'm just in favor of them, but overall it's just Bitcoin.
yeah, fair enough. If you could be a cartoon or a TV show character, who would you be and why?
I have honestly no clue.
Or maybe like I don't know, something like a maybe like a cereal character, cereal box character, or anything you could think of like from like your childhood or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I was watching all the stuff around stocks, so I don't really have any cartoons that I will be watching.
Fair enough. You've been
uh,
doing this your whole life.
yeah, I was watching all the numbers already. So, like, yeah, I don't have that much with cartoons. I just watch people who are successful, and I try to learn from them. Recently, I've watched The Last Dance of Michael Jordan, and that's just amazing. That's just amazing content. And I mean, Warren Buffett, how he does it, it's amazing. And you learn from these people. So that's a bit basically what I'm watching. I just don't pay attention to any cartoons or whatever. Or
Yeah.
maybe
You
South
you
Park
you
or
just
something
like
English.
to yeah, you just like to learn and grow and improve yourself. I think that's inspiring and people watching, it's like being able to dedicate your time and your attention to just always self-improvement. I think that's really really awesome. Um that's everything for me. Do you want to share where everyone can follow you and find your content?
Yeah, well, basically, my name is Crypto Michaël, Crypto Michael. So you can find me on Twitter on Crypto Mitch NL, which is the shorter version. On YouTube, it is Crypto Michael. You can also find me on Cointelegraph in the market analysis section, where I write TAs every week. So these are the three platforms where you can find me.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Everyone, make sure to go and follow him. This was on behalf of BeInCrypto. So if you're watching and you want to check out their stuff, you can follow them at beincrypto.com or go and join their Telegram group at BeInCrypto Community. Anyways, again, thank you so much for being on and doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching to the end of this video. Since you did, it would be great if you could give this video a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And you can find a lot more on www.BeInCrypto.com, and you can join the Telegram community and follow along there at BeInCrypto Community. Thank you for watching.